It may have been a historic day in the politics of the Middle East. On Tuesday, and following the liberation of the Syrian town of Bukamal from Daesh control, Iran declared the end of the terrorist group, a group whose atrocities had terrorized the world over the past several years.
This sedition and this danger is no longer there. This is a good piece of news for the Iranian people, for the people of the region as well. Of course, the main job was done by the Syrian people and army, the Iraqi people and army, the Lebanese people. But there were countries which contributed to the victory, including the Islamic Republic of Iran, because it was a responsibility of all of us to counter the crimes being committed in the region.
The fight against the remnants of the group still continues in certain parts of Syria and Iraq. But the demise of a group whose notorious reign had spread instability across the Middle East and shocked the world is already certain. The history of Daesh will remain a subject for debate. What the world will want to know to the same effect is how it was created, who sponsored them, and who takes the credit for finishing them off.
All of the support of some of the biggest aggressive, heavily armed nuclear powers in the world couldn't save them. All the tenacity of the Western financial system behind them and of the Western political establishment of the powerful Israel lobbies in the United States and parts of Western Europe, none of this could save Daesh from the defeat that Iran, along with others, inflicted into them.
The game to name the names over the creation of Daesh was in full swing last year during the US presidential election. The then Republican contender and the current American president openly accused the administration of Barack Obama for this.
President Obama, he is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS. He's the founder. He founded ISIS. And I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton. Co-founder, crooked Hillary Clinton.
Trump's remark may have apparently been a political attack for campaign benefits, but his accusation against Obama and Clinton was a shot in the foot of the whole American political establishment. Today, when one asks who was really behind the creation of Daesh, many will remember Trump's words and look to Washington. The world will sooner or later witness a series of important developments that will determine the future of Syria post-Daesh. But one important issue that remains to be addressed is the fate of the country's Kurdish population that fought against the terrorist group using America's help. Will they now want to have their own rule like their brethren in northern Iraq? And will the parties that have been involved in the Syrian conflict, particularly Turkey, allow that?
All four of the countries who really have a say and an input in the peace process in Syria are moving more towards a similar direction. Will there be minor disagreements in the process? Of course, but I think that the maturity of the powers involved will mean that the project Kurd that America wants in Syria will die a similar death as it did in Iraq. The big if is if America wants to use its military aggression to continue to illegally occupy Syria. In order to do this, of course might mean the end of NATO, because Turkey is already contemplating pulling out of NATO. And if Turkey, which has the second biggest army in NATO, were to pull out of the alliance would become increasingly ineffective.
The eventual death of Daesh, it would appear, is just around the corner. The group may remain active for a while as its ideology is not expected to go away anytime soon. This will not be free from costs for the international community. To the same degree, those who helped create the group will continue to support it to get their own gains as they have done so far. To them, Daesh will be a strategic tool whose name, key figures, targets and mission venue could change whenever required.